Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Naya Iman, but you can call me Nye, and this is your space for self-improvement, mindset shifts, and just stepping into your best self. And today I have a very interesting video planned for you guys, so without further ado, let's get into it. So on occasion, I'll get the question, why am I not able to attract what I want? I'm doing all the techniques, I'm writing my vision and making it plain, I'm showing gratitude, I'm doing everything that they tell you to do, but for some reason it's just not working for me. And what I always say is, in order to learn how to shift your reality, you have to first understand why your life is the way it is in the first place. Remember, everything starts from within. So if your reality is not something that you desire or something that you're proud of, your first step is going to be shifting your self-concept. Your self-concept is the mental image that you have of yourself. So whatever comes to mind when you think about you, that is your current self-concept. That is your identity. Nobody can tell you who you are. They can have ideas or opinions, but ultimately you are a product of your own beliefs. And your self-concept, which is made up of your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and experiences, quite literally determines what you experience in your reality. And I'm going to explain why. So if you didn't already know, the subconscious mind is developed between ages 0 and 8. And during this time, we're literally learning life. We don't know right from wrong. We don't know anything about the world. Everything is being taught to us. The reason why this is so important is because our minds during this time are so impressionable. They're like sponges. So while we're learning life and the world, we're also being taught or told how we fit into the world. And this is how we begin to develop a sense of self. We as children begin to define ourselves or rank ourselves according to the standards of the world and the things that we saw, felt, and experienced while growing up. And sometimes those thoughts, feelings, and experiences form limiting beliefs that become a part of our identity or self-concept. Now, I like to call them identity blocks, and I'm gonna have a more in-depth video on that topic coming soon, so make sure if you're not already subscribed that you do that, become a part of the Soul Tribe, and join us on this journey of self-discovery, healing, and growth. But anyway, back to the video. Now, these identity blocks are established by your belief system, and they directly affect how you interpret events, make decisions, and interact in the world, which ultimately is cultivating your life experience whether you realize it or not, because your belief system generates your thoughts motivate your actions form habits, and over time those habits shape your reality. For instance, if you see yourself as someone that is shy or socially awkward or incapable, which is your belief, then by default, even if you're not aware that you're doing this, you're gonna naturally play it small, which is the action. You're not gonna take chances, you're not gonna apply yourself, you're not gonna believe in yourself enough to step out of your routine and create the reality that you so desperately desire. Over time, this becomes a habit, and before you know it, your life is filled with things that don't even align with your purpose. Imagine how unfulfilling that life experience will be. No wonder so many people believe that they have depression. They're so unhappy because they're not living authentically with what is in alignment with their spirit. The reality you want to live in is only going to happen if you do it for yourself. God is not going to force you to move. He gave you free will for a reason. And the universe is not going to work harder or do more for you than you're willing to do for yourself. If you want to shift your reality, you have to work on seeing yourself in a more positive and uplifting light. You have to view yourself as worthy, blessed, abundant, beautiful, whatever it is. And once you shift that view of yourself, you start embodying that new energy. You start believing it. And eventually you show up as this better version of yourself in everyday life. You take more chances, you have more confidence, and you start to create better, more suitable life experiences that make you happy. This is how you manifest. Now, we know what the self-concept is, but for my fellow people in the back that have a hard time paying attention and retaining information, I'm going to give another example of why it's so important and how it affects us in everyday life. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. God knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb, which means that He specifically intended for you to exist in the skin that you're in the town that you're a part of, in the family that you were born into, in your life. He may have put you here because He needs you to start a business that will eventually save so many lives and bring so much good to the world. But if your self-concept says, well, I'm not good at speaking to new people, then naturally that belief of yourself will cause you to take less chances when it comes to networking and meeting people that can help you along in your purpose. There may be things that we're supposed to do or people that we're supposed to be in connection with that we will never be able to make happen because of fear or a subconscious belief that we're incapable of doing the things that God has called us to do. What a lot of people fail to realize is that everything in life is energy, even down to your thoughts. And one basic principle about energy, it's always looking to expand. So when we think thoughts and those thoughts travel out into the universe, that energy is constantly attracting more of itself, and it will represent itself back to you. Only this time, it will have attracted so much energy that it has now materialized into the 3D plane, which is what we call reality. This new reality does nothing but reaffirm the limiting beliefs that you had in the first place. And this is how the cycle continues. This is why your self-concept literally determines what you experience in your reality. Subconsciously, your mind looks to prove you right. So when you think negative things, you see negative things. However, when you develop a strong sense of self, you start to see yourself as worthy. And as a result, you start to act in alignment with these beliefs. You make decisions and choices that affirm this new self-image. When you believe in yourself, you open up the world and make room for opportunities and experiences that may have seemed out of reach otherwise. God has plans to prosper us and to give us hope and an abundant future. But most times what happens is we get so caught up in the world and the ideas and culture of the world that we become something completely different than what He had planned for us. And it may feel cool for a moment. We may feel validated by the world, but deep down that still won't bring us happiness or fulfillment. The only thing that does is living according to God's will. And if you don't know where to start or how to hear His voice, remember that God is within all of us. He shepherds us along our path by the desires that He places within our spirit. The true and pure and authentic desires within us that we know that we're meant to pursue. Those are the directions that we should be going in. That's why it's told to us that we should be holding every thought captive according to the desires of our spirit, because those desires are what's in alignment with our true purpose. The thoughts that encourage you to pursue those God-given desires are the only ones that you should be listening to. Anything else is irrelevant. Okay, so now that we know what the self-concept is and we know how it affects us, let's talk about how to develop one that serves you rather than the opposite. Now, the harsh truth is that the reality that you're currently living in right now is a reflection of your identity, because this current version of yourself has a tendency to interpret events and view the world in a specific way. Life is life. We cannot control the things that happen outside of ourselves, but we can control how we choose to look at them. You want to be the version of you that is in alignment with abundance, joy, peace, love, all the good things. And in order to be that on the outside in your reality, you have to first become that on the inside. What you focus on, you attract more of. Energy flows where attention goes. So you can't be constantly focused on negativity, lack, or misfortune if you want to one day become this new and improved version of yourself. This is what I mean when I talk about identity shifting. I'm referring to a shift in mindset. What you focus on, you create more of. So by practicing cognitive reframing, which is the process by which we're going to go about changing our self-concept, we're essentially replacing negative with positive. Fear and doubt turns into faith and optimism. Problems that normally would be roadblocks turn into fun challenges. The ideal version of yourself is a problem solver. They don't take no for an answer. They decided that they wanted certain things in life and they figured out how to get it by any means possible. The things that you're currently allowing to be stumbling blocks are stepping stones to your dream self. The things that you allow to hold you back and stop you from moving further into your purpose are memories that your dream self looks back on and laughs at with appreciation and gratitude, because they know that those things were just a necessary part of their story. It's because that version of you has learned how to positively narrate everything that happens to them in life. They know how to look at any and every situation with an optimistic eye. Reality is subjective. We give it our own definitions and we attach our own meanings to it, which means your reality is just a lie that you've convinced yourself is the truth. It's all energy. So whatever you see in front of you is just a physical representation of whatever you've been telling yourself every day. If you don't like it, change the story. Okay, so your boyfriend dumped you. Instead of looking at yourself as less worthy of love or assuming things can never get better, look at it as a blessing. It was meant to be that way because only good things happen to you. You are someone that attracts the things that are healthy for you and that serves you. That is your new self-concept. Okay, so something is hard. Good. A challenge means that it's making you stronger. Face it head on. Everything that we go through that is outside of our control is meant to change us in a way that is going to bring us closer to our most authentic self. When you realize that, you start to see the world differently. You adopt a new sense of self and you remove the gap from one identity to the next. You wake up one day as this new person and naturally you start to think, feel, and behave like them. And the more you behave like them, the more you create opportunities and experiences that are in alignment with this new identity, aka changing your reality. We are so much more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. After all, the ultimate creator made us in his image and lives within all of us. With him, we have no choice but to prosper and live in an abundant universe with infinite blessings and happiness. That is your destiny. It's just a matter of changing your mind. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what was most interesting about this video, or maybe what you want to see next. Subscribe and join the Soul Tribe and join us on this journey of self-discovery, healing, growth, just everything self-improvement. And as always, thank you so much for being here with me. I love you so much and I'm proud of you for everything that you've accomplished, everything that you're going to accomplish, all the ways that you're healing yourself and just becoming a better version of you. I'm rooting for you. The universe is rooting for you when you root for yourself. And yeah, love you. See you in the next one.